This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Hello, lovely voice teacher. Welcome to another episode of the Voicepreneur Podcast. I am truly delighted, like extra delighted and excited today because this is a really special episode. It really is. It's like touching my heart in such a resonant way. I love using that word because, we're all singers here, so it's fun to use that pun. It's fun to use that pun. And the reason why this is such a special episode for me is because we are celebrating the completion of the Voicepreneur program. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is this is actually a 4-month program. I haven't talked about it enough, but I want to talk about it because it's relevant for your business. I promise. This is a 4-month program that I have been dripping out over the last 16 weeks, and we finished our 16th lesson. And now the program is complete, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes when I say that. The reason why it's actually complete and also not complete is because it is a membership. And I want to bring it home because I know that a lot of voice teachers in the realm of the modern online world want to, or maybe already have, a membership. This is a hot topic. And don't worry, I'm going to be talking a lot more about this in future episodes, specifically how to set up a membership and whether or not it's right for you and your business. But I wanted to share a behind the scenes look as to how I created my own membership and how it is just, oh my gosh, like life-changing is, I can't emphasize it enough. Having this membership program, this membership model is just, it's my favorite way to go. It truly is. I'm not going to be secretive about it. The membership model is my favorite way. And I want to share just a little bit about how I set it up and kind of give this to you from like a timeline perspective. So it's almost like we're going to walk back through time and I'm going to share with you the actual steps that I took so that if you wanted to create your own membership, you could literally steal my own strategy. Here you go. I am handing it to you on a silver platter. And if you are driving, I definitely recommend saving this episode so that you can take notes later. And if you are in a space where you can take notes, awesome. Whatever floats your boat is great, but this is very much like an educational journey, so to speak, of how to create a membership. So before we get into the nitty gritty, I just want to share the biggest piece of advice that I can give you. And the thing that really helped me throughout this entire 20-month process, actually way more than that. It's more like 2.5, 3 years even. I started dreaming about doing a membership in 2019. So what helped me get through this whole process is really having a long game vision, really knowing that this is going to be a lot of work up front that will pay off later down the line. It's kind of like one of those things where you have to invest now to see the wealth later. And that's for time, that's for energy, that's for money, that's for everything. So just know that when I tell you all of these steps, that this was very much like part of the big game picture here. It wasn't something where, I'm doing all these hacks and tricks and tips and making, $100,000 in 6 months or any of that bullshit. We're just doing real deal stuff here. I'm a real voice teacher who was doing this while teaching at the same time. And yeah, it took a little bit longer than a lot of teachers, but that's okay. To me, that wasn't really even the point. The whole point was that I was setting myself up for long-term success, for sustainability, for scalability, and most importantly, for enjoyability. Enjoyability? I think I made up a word. Enjoyable, loving, just loving the process, making it fun. That's really what it's all about. So, all right, let's talk about it. Here are kind of the steps, quote unquote, that I took. The first thing that I did was I clarified my long game vision. This is important. You got to clarify your long game vision. And what I mean by that specifically is picking a business model that is going to help you get there. So for me, this was huge. Like I said, I'm a big picture thinker here. So when I'm in this kind of state of mind, I'm exploring all types of possibilities that are going to help me set myself up for success. So I was looking at things like online courses, memberships, masterclasses, group coaching programs, like all the things that we talk about all the time, right? Looking at all of these different offers and continually assessing whether or not they were going to support my vision. Now, we can have a whole episode about this. In fact, I'm actually kind of working on a training specifically on helping voice teachers pick out their paid offer. But I will say this. Here's my biggest piece of advice, and this is what I did. I really, really believe, and it's so funny, I don't know where this came from. It's on my notes, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. I have no idea where this came from, but I wrote, I really believe that alignment equals intuition plus knowledge. That's really what it's all about. It's about knowledge. It's about research. It's about understanding all of the different models, all of the different options, right? Really knowing how the math works, really knowing how to set yourself up so that you're not draining yourself, right? You need to have knowledge about these things. And then, of course, you got to follow your gut. You got to follow your heart. You got to follow your intuition. And that is really where you're going to find the best alignment. So for me, that's where I decided I wanted to do a membership. I was thinking a lot about my life 3 years, 5 years, 10 years even, if I could, which is a really hard thing to do. But I ultimately chose a membership because I wanted to be able to make recurring money even when I wanted to do life differently. Because that's just how I am. I've lived in a camper van for 9 months. My husband and I travel all the time. We are weekend warriors right now, but when we're not weekend warriors, we are traveling. I took a 6-month maternity leave. I was thinking about all of these things, right? Where it's just like, what are the things that will still allow me to make money when I want to do things differently, when I want to live my life? How can I do that? I can do that with a membership. So that's ultimately what got me going. I decided, okay, I'm going to go the membership route. And then step 2 was that I decided I'm going to learn everything I possibly can about how to build a membership. So I got trained. I went to conferences. I went to masterminds. I mean, I just went berserk for an entire year. I was completely dedicated to learning everything I could about this topic. And this is important because if you decide, let's say you want to go the online course route, well then by golly, you better learn everything you freaking can on how to build a successful online course. Don't just build it. You need to learn about it. Remember, knowledge is power here. So very, very important. Whatever route you decide to go, just dedicate a considerable amount of time to making sure that you know a lot about it. Very, very important. So this part of this process for me, when I was learning so much about the membership model and specifically how to set it all up. Now, granted, at this time, I knew a lot about marketing. I knew a lot about business. I was coaching musicians on this. I had been kind of doing this side hustle for a little bit, helping voice teachers, helping other music teachers. And when it's kind of funny, when I decided to do the membership model, I was thinking about it from my business, The Whole Voice, from teaching my voice students, right? That's where this whole idea came from. I was not at all thinking about voice teachers and helping them with business and marketing. I was focused on how can I create a membership for my voice students? So that's just something to know, because what was really hard about this is kind of going into step 3 here, is that as I was learning about the business of running a membership and, kind of how that all works, I realized I had to make a very important decision on who my ideal student was and what it was that I was helping them with. And the reason why this is important is for two things. Number one, you need to do that, right? We all need to do that whenever we're creating a membership or a course or anything. So take note. It is so important that you get hyper specific on who that person is. But the other reason why that was really important for me was that I realized that I was going to be more successful helping voice teachers. And it was like the weirdest thing. I mean, truly, it was the weirdest thing. I had completely built out this entire membership program and I was actually involving my students. They were like paying me for this. Like I built out a whole program where I was helping them with self-care singing and mantras and melody mantras and improvising and this whole method that I had created behind the whole voice. And then the pandemic hit. And it was the wildest thing. I'm kind of going on a tangent right now, but it was the wildest thing because what happened was I literally hit publish on my program on March 11, 2020. And that same day, everything started shutting down. And at that time, I was like, wow, this is wild. What weird divine timing is this? I just created a membership for people to learn how to sing. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Everyone's going to learn how to sing in the comfort of their own homes, and they're going to be so happy that they have an art right now. That was where my mind went. And then what ended up happening was all these voice teachers were coming to me for help. Help me, Allie. I need to get online. I need a brand. I need a website. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't have an onboarding process. Like I know nothing. And it was like total divine, like, whoa, I have to make an important decision here. Maybe this membership is actually not for my voice students. Maybe it's for the voice teachers. So this was really tough. I got to tell you, I struggled with this for several weeks because I knew I wanted to do this and I was all ready to go and I had built out this whole program, but I really realized that, wow, COVID is kind of changing everything and I need to be flexible. So I decided I was going to do it for the voice teachers. I scrapped that whole other program. I'm going to save it for later. And I got hyper specific about what I was helping voice teachers with. So huge. What I ended up deciding to do after that, now that I had clarified that, I knew who I was helping, I knew what I was helping them with. Step 4 was I started backwards by creating a Facebook community. Now, this is important because if you decide that you want to go a membership route, for example, what do we know about memberships? Well, we know that there are members, right? And what do we know about members? They are wanting to be a part of something, right? Members has this kind of vibe of community and group. It just has that kind of essence to it. So a membership is naturally going to have a community. And that means that it's really good practice inside of, let's say, a free Facebook community to actually facilitate something like that. And I got to tell you, I was super resistant. I was like, no way. That is not my jam. People were telling me to do that. But I realized, again, going back to my big vision here, having recurring revenue that I could depend on so that I could go and do whatever the hell I wanted with my life. If I really wanted that, I needed to have a community. And again, this is also kind of really knowing your ideal student. I also was recognizing that voice teachers were wanting a community that was being very much expressed during the pandemic. So I was filling a need there. But all of that to say, I decided to create a free Facebook community. I started advertising, quote unquote, promoting it, in conferences and podcast episodes, basically any opportunities that I had where I was getting in front of groups of teachers. That's key, getting in front of groups of your ideal people and then promoting the Facebook group. And then step 5, I went as far as making the Facebook group my freebie. And it was the place that I offered free weekly legacy content. We've talked about this before, and if you haven't checked it out, go and check out the episode where I talk about why you need to have a YouTube or a podcast. And I know you're going to freaking hate me for saying that, but I'm sorry. It's kind of the truth if you really do want to scale in this way, but go check it out. legacy content is so important. And I did not, in that moment of my life during the pandemic, I was like, look, I already have the whole Voice podcast. I got a whole brand going over there. I'm not going to start another YouTube channel and a podcast. Like I can't do that right now. Let's do it all inside of this free Facebook group. I'm going to go live every single Monday, and I'm going to call it Marketing Mondays. And maybe you're listening to this and you remember Marketing Mondays. We went live every Monday for 6 months, every Monday morning or evening sometimes. And I would do maybe, 15, 20 minutes on whatever business or marketing training topic I wanted to. And I would obviously, be involving people, getting people on the lives, having conversations with them, getting a buzz going, creating relationships with these people. And then what I would do is I was actually sending email broadcasts to the people who are inside of that group in case they were missing things. And then I would lead them directly to the videos that I was putting inside of the Facebook group. So I was constantly circulating everybody back to this legacy content. Now, here's something that's interesting. At this time, and this is kind of going into number 6 here. Number 6 on my note says, I opened up the membership with an outline only. Here's the thing. I was offering 6 months of free content without pitching anything. I didn't have a membership. Mind you, I had already built a membership, right? And then COVID happened. And then I was like, oh crap, I got to make a whole new membership. I did not have time at that time to do a whole new thing, but I had all these voice teachers. I had the market there. So I thought, okay, great. I'm going to put them in a Facebook group. I'm just going to build a relationship with them. I'm going to give them free content. And in the background, behind the scenes, I'm going to be working on my outline. I'm not going to be pitching anything during those 6 months. There's nothing to pitch. I have nothing to sell, but I was very, very intentional with the time that I was spending behind the scenes. So step 6, I had opened that membership up with an outline and a beta discount for the Facebook group members. So after those 6 months were over and I had finished this kind of outline, I said, hey guys, everybody who's inside of this Facebook group, I want to offer a founding member discount to this membership I'm working on. Now, I'm going to be honest, I am just testing the waters here. I actually don't even have anything recorded. I have an idea. I literally said all this, truly. I went live and said all of this stuff to everybody. It's here's my idea. Here are the results that I want to get you. Here are the steps on how I'm going to get you there. And I'm going to offer it at this insanely discounted price and only until February 1st. And then I'm going to close it down and I'm never going to open it up at this price ever again. So my goal was to get, 10 people in that. And I got 50. And I think it was because the price was so low. The price was so stupid low. But hey, that was the route I decided to go because I could always increase as I go. And numbers of people are oftentimes way, way, way more powerful in terms of your ideal students who are paying you than the actual numbers you're getting in your bank account, just saying. So what I did was I outlined a 12-step process over a 12-month program. And it was just, it was in my beta group. What I did end up doing was I kind of opened and closed it every 3 months for anyone else who wanted to come at kind of a higher price. So it was an open close model, but like I said, this was just such a great opportunity for me to test it out with people that I already knew. It allowed for sustainability because meanwhile, I was pregnant. I was doing all of this while I was pregnant and then had a baby. So I literally had a baby in the middle of this whole 12-month thing. And then I went and took a 6-month maternity leave after that happened, but I kept the membership going. So this was all kind of part of the plan. The pregnancy thing was not part of the plan, by the way. That just kind of happened. So that was wonderful. And then step 7, while I ran the program, I used this money to reinvest back into my business and make the program even better. What I mean by this is I went out and I invested in myself. I went and got myself a business coach and a mentor and a program. And I've spent an absurd amount of money in 2023. I'm sorry, 2023. Wow. We're in 2022. I've spent an absurd amount of money in 2022 on reinvesting in my business investing in my business to make the program better. I want to make this program as amazing as possible. Very important to me. So step 8, I revised the program after the 12 months were over. And what I mean by that is I completely rewrote it, And I rewrote the entire new outline, new program. It wasn't 12 months anymore. It became a 4-month program. It became so much more results oriented. And then I relaunched it with an evergreen model. So it's no longer an open close thing. Evergreen means that it is open all the time. So now, flash forward to where we are right now. I have dripped out that 16 lesson program over the last 4 months. We just finished it. And here is where things get fun. I set up a membership to be continual, right? Well, what happens when there's no more lesson content? What the heck? What do we do? All I'm doing now are live calls and bonus trainings. So this to me is truly my zone of genius. Like, I love the live calls. The live calls are where we get together every other week and we talk about our businesses. They bring their questions. We get their questions answered. It's kind of like a group coaching call. That's sort of how it's evolved into, because we've all gotten so close in that community. But of course I facilitate it and I'm answering people's questions. And then inside of the bonus trainings, I only do 1, maybe 2 bonus trainings every month. And this fills in the gaps of everything that either was missed inside of the program or are questions that people have that maybe kind of like would help them with their business. So for example, taxes or budgeting or Facebook ads or SEO, things that are not necessarily part of the core content, but are definitely things that are going to help you grow your business. So those are all bonus trainings. This allows me to work 4 to 6 hours a month. This is the power of a membership, in my opinion. A membership can feel like all of this work that you're having to do every month, right? Everyone's so freaked out by this membership model because they think it's just so much content. How do I keep up with it? But to me, it's like, no, this is like part of my monthly, weekly, daily life, right? I'm a teacher. Now that I've done the core content and that basically the hard part is over, the most amount of work is over. Now I get to do what I already do. I get to teach. It's just part of my routine. And I meet with my people a couple times a month. And then I, make bonus trainings on literally whatever the hell I want. And if I don't want to do it, then I'm going to go and hire a guest expert to come in and do it for me so that we can get knowledge from a bunch of different people. That's what's so cool. You can get so creative and really align it so that you are working exclusively in your zone of genius. So, wow, that was a lot. I truly hope that was helpful for you and that it helps to kind of hear the perspective of someone else and how they sort of, run their business. I have always found that examples for me really get the wheels turning in my head. So here are a couple of the big lesson takeaways that I want you to have from this episode. Number 1. Fanciness is not required. I hope that was kind of a theme that you could feel throughout, that this is really about just doing it as you go. If you have an outline and you know what the heck it is that you are teaching about, that's all you need. You can record as you go. You do not need to pre-record. You do not need to get fancy. This is more about getting people and not about making it perfect. Very, very important. Another takeaway that I hope that you get from this is to really create a marketing plan that gets in front of your people consistently, right? Remember, we're all about giving them value. We're all about the legacy content, and you can get creative with how you do that. Maybe you want to do a Facebook group like I did, or maybe you want to do the YouTube or a podcast. But what's most important is that you are making a marketing plan that gets in front of your ideal people all the time, right? As much as you possibly can. And then finally, beta, beta, beta. We love betas. Betas are amazing. And I love helping voicepreneurs with this. This is something that we work on inside of the Voicepreneur program. I think right now, currently, as I'm recording this, there are 3 or 4 voice teachers out there who are beta testing their products. And it's just so fun to see everybody doing this. It's basically like, yeah, I have this awesome idea, and now I'm going to follow this very meticulous process to ensure that I am doing it right and that I get feedback and that I'm getting people results. So if this is something that you want to get into, I have a step-by-step process on how to create your beta campaign. And trust me when I say you can do it right or you can do it wrong. I have done it wrong. And I have done it right. So I know, and I want to help you do it right. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to maybe flesh out that outline a little bit more, because I know that you're probably thinking, great, Allie, how do I make this outline? How do I actually plan this out where I don't need to record everything up front, but I can kind of record as I go? That is also included inside of the Voicepreneur program, as well as 4 months worth of lessons, which is really, really fun. So you can, of course, check this out with a link inside of the show notes. And if you would like to set up a 15-minute call with me to chat things over, see if it's the right fit, see if there's anything else that I can do to support you, that is always an option. And you can find that link in there as well. Thank you so much for spending a little bit more time with me. I know this was a little bit longer of an episode than usual, but I kind of knew it would be, and I hope that it was helpful for you. If you felt like this was helpful and you enjoyed this episode, be sure to take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, tag me over at The Voicepreneur, and oh my gosh, I will just be so appreciative if you could please rate and review it on iTunes. This is so helpful, and I truly appreciate your support. Thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, that you feel empowered and inspired to make the things happen, because you can and you will. I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear what you do. I will catch you in the next episode.